like, oh, this is good. This is good. Do everything else.
Hey guys, call order Reed City 6/9/25. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Milner, Councilmember Scott, Councilmember Milner,
Present.
Councilmember Underwood,
Present.
Mayor Exley,
Here.
Councilmember Blackwell, Councilmember Taylor,
Here.
Councilmember Riley.
Tonight's Matt Gifford from Lincoln First Baptist, if you guys will stand, remain standing for the pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. You alone, O God, by your gracious and life-giving Spirit, have the power to knit our imperfect hearts together, and our weaknesses and our strengths and our stories and our gifts to one another. Unite your people and multiply these meager offerings, O Lord, that we all might resound to your glory. May our acts of service and creation, frail and wanting as they are, be met and multiplied by the mysterious workings of your Spirit, who weaves all things together towards the redemption and more good and the glorious than yet ever we have seen before, or courage we can hope for. Let all that we do here in these brief lives, let this our brief moment of love and the work that you have ordained for this community flower in the winsome and beautiful foretaste of greater glories yet to come. Lord, it is in your precious name we pray. Amen.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America. And one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
guys. Motion's in order to approve the agenda with the addition of new business item 5A.
So moved.
Second. I got a motion by Ms. Taylor, and I got a second by Mr. Blackwell. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. And then we have here the approval, motion for approval of meetings from May 12th, 2025.
I found, Mr. Mayor, I found two corrections. It was item 3, new business, at the top of the paragraph on page 9, line 4. It should be reading golf course. There was a misspelling. And then on item 4 on that same page, just to make it clear as to what you were discussing during that, I would like to have a statement inserted saying, talking about the county conducting the city elections each year. It wasn't clear, and I think he did say that, but it wasn't in the minutes.
Yeah, we were talking about a long-term contract with the county instead of annual. So you don't have to be thinking about it every year.
We just need to clarify his statement a little bit, adding that comment. That's the only things I saw that needed correcting. If there's no others, I'll make a motion to approve.
What was the, you said the golf course?
Yeah, it's spelled, on that line, it was spelled incorrectly, it's gold.
Maybe it should be.
Yeah.
Ben's got a motion
With changes.
and we got, with changes. We got a second from Ms. Underwood. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, guys, right now I'm gonna, come down and we're gonna do our hero of the month. And our hero of the month is Sergeant Matthew Waters. He will be, our 2025 Grand Marshal on our Freedom Ring celebration. So, just want to come down and read this and I might. So, just want to read a little bit here and everybody to be able to hear this. This is important. I had the opportunity to, be at, Sergeant Waters', Homes for Troops, and pretty amazing. You guys maybe not, you didn't get to hear the all the stuff that was said. I just remember being in the Army and having buddies like that, and everybody had a story, and every one of those guys had a story about, good ones. Yeah, good ones. Most of them were good. Some of them was, hey, you crazy, but,
Still great.
anyway, Sergeant Waters, a U.S. Army Sergeant from 97 to 2004. Reason for joining the Army was he wanted to give back to the many opportunities for freedom, and he wanted to give that back that had been given to him. Have close friends, Army Rangers who shared many stories which intrigued him to challenge himself. He wanted to see what he was made of. You want to find out what you're made of, sign up for that. Where he signed up to do something that few people are capable of doing. Traveled all over the USA, South Africa, and Europe. Also served combat tours in Afghanistan in 2002 and Iraq in 2003. His training was airborne ranger and sniper school. I was a sniper in the motor pool, so I got to work on stuff. His awards were Purple Heart, Bronze Star with a V device for valor. And if you guys don't know what that is, look it up because it means a lot. Message to a younger generation, which I hope my son's listening. Find a way to give back to your community and country, not just take from it. And then find that thing that you want to do and be the best at it. Be better than you were yesterday. I mean, that's selfless comments. So, tonight we're going to present this award to Sergeant Waters, and we appreciate everything you've done. Look forward to having you in prayer.
Appreciate it.
So,
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So, guys, anybody that's got a public comment that don't pertain to agenda items should wish to appear before council, just show up at Lincoln City Hall. They can get you the right paperwork to do that. So we won't be having opportunities to speak unless it is an agenda item. We'll move into public hearing. City Attorney, glad you could make it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This will open up the public hearing specific to review of the following proposed amendments to the City of Lincoln Unified Development Ordinance, specifically Chapter 2, Definitions, Chapter 3, Development Regulations, and Chapter 8, Subdivision Regulations. Ms. Lewis, I understand you may have some comments to make.
Good evening. So as you know, at the end of March, council adopted the Unified Development Ordinance, and I am here in June with our first set of amendments. So as we talked about when we were going through the adoption process, we talked about how the UDO would be a living document. That's why the copy that you received today is in a binder. It's not bound like the comprehensive plan. It's in the binder because we know that there will be changes to it. So this is the first set of changes. And I do actually have a couple of changes to these proposed changes. So I'm looking at the very first item was providing definitions for hotel and motel. They were grouped together before, and in separating them, I listed the districts where hotels would be allowed and the districts where motels would be allowed. So looking at this further, I think what we want to do is eliminate motels from not being allowed in the city. So if there are any in the city, which we know that there's at least one, it would just be considered non-conforming, so it'd be allowed to remain, but no new ones could be built. And this would be for the entire city, not just in any of the overlay districts.
So we do have one where you can drive up and go.
Yes.
I just want to make sure because they have to be enclosed. You have one door to go in to be considered.
Yes. Yes. So this will look a little different when it comes to you for second reading, because I need to figure out how to make that change in here, how to have that be clear for hotels. But that would be the first one. The The other change in definitions is structure. In talking with our building inspector, when he took a look at this, it looked like it actually did not capture everything that we needed it to. So what we did was we just pulled the definition from the building code. So it makes it better because then we're consistent between both the UDO and the building code. The next two changes are in subdivisions. The first one is if a new subdivision will be accessed through an existing subdivision or vice versa, the type of development, house size, lot size must be comparable to the existing subdivision. And we're going to change that language a little bit to make sure that something can be comparable or better. So we don't want to prevent somebody from being better. So that language will change a little bit. And then the other thing, as part of the UDO, we're not allowing on-street parking any longer. But what we found was that we had to post a sign at each subdivision stating that that's not allowed. So we've purchased those signs. They will be going up, but we want to put language in the code so that any new subdivisions will bear that burden themselves. Yes. And those are the proposed first set of changes for the UDO.
Here as always, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. If any member of the public would like to comment in favor or against the specific suggested changes, this would be your opportunity. Going once, going twice. That will close this public hearing. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, back to you.
All right, there's a motions in order to approve the consent agenda as written.
So moved. Yeah, I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as written.
Got a motion by Ms. Underwood. I got a second by Ms. Taylor. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, guys, we'll move into department reports. Before we get started on department reports, I got a little something that I obviously need to read here and get out to the public. I'm hearing a lot of different things back and forth, and I just want to make sure that we kind of clear the air with it. My fight was not a fight of choice like Sergeant Waters, and I commend him for that. Awesome human being, and obviously somebody that has put it down for us to be here for this celebration, and that's why this celebration is so important. I would miss it for the world. And then let our community understand through our Veterans Park and all the things that we're doing, just how important these courageous men and women are. But I want to start by saying thank you to the people that has taken me to treatments, prayed, cried, helped feed my family the last 5 weeks of my life. I can't say enough. In April, I was diagnosed with head and neck cancer. It made it to the right side, lymph nodes. World changed immediately after that diagnosis. Just thinking that, hey, what's next? It spread, where'd it go? Do you have enough life insurance? I mean, you think about everything. But now I see the finish line. We're close, 2.5 weeks away. And then after a PET scan, I found out that the cancer was in an early stage and only in the right side. With the great doctors that I have, I started treatment immediately in May. Was given 35 radiation 5 days a week, 2 rounds of the highest potency chemo that they could give me. Currently, I'm down about 34 pounds with a little over 2 weeks left to ring the bell. But when I took this role as the mayor, one of the things that was said was, I missed some meetings here and there, but I made a promise, not to disengage, and not going to do it. So, unless it's just physically impossible, I'm going to be here. If you can be here, I can be here. So I'm going to be here on June the 26th. I ring the bell as a cancer-free survivor and move into recovery. So toughest fight ever. I don't think campaigning was ever this tough. But thank you again, and I'll look to be a healthier person in the next couple of weeks. Thank you, guys. Uh, First reading on proposed amendments to the City of Lincoln UDO, specifically Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and Chapter 8. You have anything on that, Mr.?
Nothing other than what I said during the public.
This is it, okay. Motion's in order
Make a motion.
to approve.
Second.
I got a motion by Mr. Blackwell, I got a second by Ms. Taylor, all in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passed. Vote to appoint, this is, vote to appoint one new member to the planning and zoning board. I think we were gonna talk about that, what, or do we wanna meet?
If y'all reviewed both applications and y'all have a decision, y'all could do it now. If y'all want to discuss it in executive session, we can do that and come back out.
It's whatever y'all wanna do, if y'all wanna make a motion, if somebody wants to make a motion for the person.
I make the motion for Catherine Bashan.
A second.
Got a motion by Ms. Underwood, I got a second by Mr. Milner, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. We look forward to having you on there. You know, I wanted to say this about that position, guys. One of the things that, you know, when I went out and I was talking to different people that were wanting us on boards, they didn't necessarily want people that was a part of what that board was. They wanted people that were smart people, that were aggressive, that would actually look at our ordinances and things like that and look at their ordinances and rules and base their decisions on things like that, instead of, you know, having a contractor on that board. Maybe he's always gonna look at things like a contractor looks at. Maybe he's gonna have more information than everybody has, but what I would tell planning and zoning is that there's an opportunity every time you get something that comes to you to be able to call those functional experts in for a workshop. Have those meetings, meet with contractors, get what they know, and then go back and start looking at the ordinances and how it fits in our city. I think we had a couple of bad situations. One of them was really bad with Mr. Milner, and I know he was very upset about it. So was I, because there was things that probably should have never made it to us. And I feel like that, you know, redefining that position, getting people in there is going to help out and move us forward. That's all I got.
One question from Ms. Lewis on the planning and zoning board. Will this new member complete the board or do you?
It will.
Okay.
Oh, so there's no, I
I
guess.
was thinking, because we had, originally there was two.
Yeah.
So that's long.
Provided both of them. We had 2 people submit for it. We interviewed both are applicant candidates, so.
So, new business number 3, request approval to contract with Kinley Horn and Associates Inc. for continuing conducting service, Mr. Byrd.
Yeah, this is the master service agreement with Kinley Horn. Mr. Chris Martingale is here to discuss it with you. If you recall, about 2 meetings ago, we talked about speed limit change on 21, speed limit change on Fort Howard crosswalks. This is something we'll deal with Mr. Martingale to handle this for us and to deal one-on-one with DOT about the speed limit.
Good evening, council and Mr. Mayor. I'm Chris Martingale. I'm with Kinley Horn and Associates. We are a multidisciplined civil engineering firm. We have 5 offices across Georgia, including one in Savannah, where we have about 30 staff members. I'm a roadway guy by nature. I've developed roads and bridges throughout Chatham County and the Southeast and then throughout Georgia. And I also have a traffic problem. I do lots of traffic studies and traffic study reviews and traffic reports. The master service agreement that we're talking about tonight contains no scope of work, no fee, and no schedule. It is merely a tool that allows you to go to work quickly on a project or a study. The master service agreement includes terms such as insurance requirements, file ownership, indemnity. There's lots of other, what we would typically call boilerplate language in the agreement, but again, there's no fee, no scope of services, nothing that's directly tied to any type of budgetary item. Once that master services agreement is in place and a need is identified, such as the speed study in downtown Lincoln, and also the needs for crosswalks on Fort Howard Road, has a couple of those potential things that we would help you guys with. An individual project order would be developed, and that would include the scope of work, the schedule, and the fee. Again, all of the front-end legal matters are squared away. Of course, Kimley Horn has attorneys, and of course, you guys have an attorney as well that like to talk about those matters and work through them, and that takes time to get everybody happy. And again, this process or this tool allows you to get that out of the way one time, and then we're just talking about individual tasks that the city would like to complete quickly. There'd be a single point of contact, that would be the city manager. We've used this tool in Effingham County, for Effingham County specifically. We have a master services agreement in Chatham County. We have one with the city of Savannah. We have one with the city of Fuller. So it's a very effective way of being able to jump on a problem and respond quickly.
So you guys have direct contact with DOT or a member there? And
Yes, sir. One of the benefits of our firm, and I don't want to do a commercial necessarily, but is the relationships that we have with other agencies. We do an extensive amount of work with GDOT, and have designed projects directly for them. We've also delivered projects through what's known as a local project agreement, where a local municipality will actually complete a design as a local sponsor. So I personally have worked with GDOT for 28 years. My first project in this area, right out of school, in fact, was Truman Parkway from Durand to Abercorn. So I've worked here for a long time, and we build lots of great relationships that way.
So could be a liaison, kind of.
that's what they're calling.
Absolutely, absolutely. With limits, of course. You have to be careful when speaking on behalf of a municipality. So I would always want the city beside me.
Yeah, but as long as we say what he said, that's all we need.
What he said.
But when you find out who our true representative is, let Robin know.
Representative in terms of,
G9.
Yeah, she does.
so Miss Ann Purcell is the board member for.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
not her. We've already talked with her.
Okay. It sounds like there's some business we did jump on pretty quickly.
Yes, sir.
So, two things. You mentioned the fees. Explain that. There's no,
There's no fees on the master service agreement. When he comes back with a scope of work, like,
And they-
yes, sir. What this does is, if it comes in and it's under that certain amount, I don't have to bring it before council to get it done.
and then on the estimate, it may be too early to ballgame, but the specific two items that we're talking about, 21 and Fort Howard, roughly a study like that, how long does that generally take? Are we talking weeks, months, a year?
The speed studies can be done in a month, but you will likely have a month of time waiting after that for a response from GDOT. There's a lot of data.
60 days, I mean, that means.
There's a lot of data collection that goes into those
And then
studies.
does your company also advise on how to roll that out and implement that?
Yes, sir.
Right?
And also, you want to ask them about crosswalks, because I know that was something.
Yeah, so the concerns that I'm getting from citizens is, don't lower the speed. We don't want crosswalks. But yet we have residents that are walking across what's now become basically a 2-lane highway in Fort Howard. And we need to find a way to have that happen safely. Because I'm seeing people just wait and then just walk right across the road day and night. Whatever that fix is, hopefully you'll be able to find it.
Yes, sir. Specifically for that project, the sidewalk is on the south side of Fort Howard Road. So we need to identify those places that are most likely to have a pedestrian crossing, and there may be multiples, and establish a safe crossing at that location. There's a significant amount of straight roadway there as well, so I would recommend some type of warning device. That's probably what we call a rectangular, rapidly flashing beacon.
Say that again.
Rectangular, rapidly flashing beacon.
But what they have like down Tybee.
But you know, what I want to add to this is what the public, you know, the people that are coming to you and talking to you, our renderings will be coming in. And our renderings that we have coming in will explain what our vision is for Fort Howard. And that's a vision for us to slow it down and kind of be our downtown area. So we're working on that right now. And I think once everyone gets to see that vision that we have through renderings, it'll make all the sense in the world why we want to slow it down, other than the reasons that Mr. Blackman and Mr. Blackwell have been talking about for a year. You know, just the speed is incredible.
Well, and I think we have a responsibility to the community when we only have sidewalks on one side of Fort Howard right now, is to give people safe access across the street to those sidewalks. And as much as we would like to not slow down, I think getting society to slow down any way we can is never a bad thing. And if you drive a school bus like we do down Fort Howard Road, they need to slow.
The other thing that I've asked is talk about the GDOT is I'm being told that Highway 21 has smart lighting or lights for red lights. My question is, are they kindergarten smart or college smart? Because on a Saturday, it makes no sense for me to head down to Pooler and I'm hitting 7 out of the 10 lights red. The other thing is on 9th Street, as you come from Miss Taylor's house, there's no left-hand turn signal. And it is are you gonna turn in my lane? You know, people coming this way from 9th Street, they're turning and then there's no turn signal there. So these are issues that we're seeing that could be addressed. We just don't have the capability right now with GDOT to get them to do whatever.
Understood, and those are great examples of problems that you may say, hey, get with GDOT and figure out why there's not a left turn signal here. Is it because it's not warranted, or was it not warranted in the past and it's warranted now? Let's figure out what's going on.
And this study should help out with a lot of
Yeah.
those.
That's all.
The speed study would not help out with determining whether there's a warrant for a left turn, a dedicated left turn signal. You would need to do an individual intersection study with turning movement counts to do that.
Yeah, it's needed. And when we have a ball tournament or church is let out, you have to wait at that light. Or then you take a chance on 21 without the light. You see what I'm saying? So it's,
I'm sure we could submit a list of things like.
Well,
Forest
and
Street
that's what I was fixing to-
That
I would understand. And I think
You gave me.
say that if there are things that y'all see, as council sees, that we feel like we would like to be addressed even in the future, just send Robbie an email and he'll pass it on, or.
No, he's not, because he's going to do 21 and 40 first. Then we'll move forward.
The importance of that single point.
I make a motion to approve.
I say. The motion by Ms. Taylor, we got a second by Mr. Milner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thanks, Griff.
Guys, request approval of contract with Central Fence Company to install a fence at Giles Park in the amount of $32,580. Mr. City Manager?
We got 3 prices on this, Central Fence Company. Lowest price. This is for Giles Park. We need to get the fence in, they can start pressing field.
So
That's what you approve it.
question I have, and this is one from my knowledge, and I'm sure there's people out in the community. When something like this comes in, is this a budgetary item or is this an add-on?
That's an add-on lost item.
Gotcha.
That's okay.
Okay, Robbie, I just wanted to clarify, and I double checked today, that the 9 gauge is the same quality gauge fence as what we put up. It's more of a commercial grade gauge
Yes.
than what we've had in the past, because we've been known to put up cheap residential,
This,
it's not last long.
Mr. Andy, the old Central Fence Company has done every time I put fence at recreation parks, he's done it. And, he always top notch.
I mean, those out at Fuller look better than the ones that we have that were just, put up.
He's, he runs a good business.
I just didn't see a gauge on his quote.
He won't put the flimsy stuff out there.
I think we go and look at what we have out at Freedom too.
Yeah.
Because that's some serious fence.
Well, you put.
Yes, sir.
I just didn't see the
Change
gauge.
me.
I just didn't see the gauge on his, so I want to make sure the gauge is clear that it's, and I think that
That was another.
Darren asked for a 9 gauge, I think.
Another company quoted 9 gauge. It's in our packet.
Yeah, let's confirm that.
Yeah, I will. But it's
He
good.
just quotes the black vinyl coated chain link fence with the gates, vehicle and pedestrian.
Be good.
So do that, make a motion to accept that based on it being 9 gauge. I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Ms. Underwood to accept it with 9 gauge added to the quote.
Second.
Second, Blackwell, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Guys, this is a big one. New business number 5, request approval of contract Lane Christensen Company for repairs to well number 4 in the amount of $96,600.
We'll hand it over to Mr. Josh Yeager. VOM.
And guys, I want you to remember the conversation that we had. We knew we were bad. We knew when we brought these guys in that we were gonna have a lot of stuff fixed. So we didn't count on taking the discount that we were gonna take by having them come on. But the things that they have found up until this point has been amazing stuff to find because it could put us in a big hole. But either way, I'm gonna let Josh talk about what they found and what we have.
Thank you. So basically, this is a continuation of what you approved in March of removing that pump. And also at that time, you approved them to camera the well. What they found when they cambered that well was extensive bacterial mineral buildup down in it, in the casing part. So what they're wanting to do now and suggesting is to basically scrub it, brush it mechanically, and airlift it to remove all the junk. And then also fix what was wrong with the pump. This all started out as just the seal in the pump leaking. What we found is they tore it apart. The whole shaft, all the way to the bottom, was doing this. So that entire shaft was just wore out. It hadn't been pulled in who knows how long. So that's the long story short of it. It is a lot of money, but at the end of the day, this pretty much gives you all new stuff. So it's a big deal. I mean, clearly it's your water well, 1 of 3. This basically is the same that they did to well 3 right over here. So it would get you pretty much all new stuff. The pump itself will be completely rebuilt as needed. And then the only thing left is the motor on top, and it's in great shape.
Where's this well located?
Somewhat, just outside of Silverwood there.
So Josh, on that, what type of preventive maintenance do you guys do that'll make sure moving forward that we tearing these things up, or it's just a check?
It's a check, keeping checks on it, making sure that the pumps, the amperage is running right, the flows are where they need to be. This isn't so much a short term, they weren't taking care of things. It's just time to get this stuff fixed. Obviously, it's a lot of money to pull these wells. You don't want to just do it let's just look at it. So
First question, how many wells do we have?
3.
Okay, but this is well number 4.
Correct. They're actually, I think there's some old ones out there, but we utilize well number 3, 4, and 5. So the numbering doesn't quite jive with what it makes sense.
And then 2 of those will be pretty much redone.
Yeah, and well number 5 is the north one, and it's significantly newer.
So 4 will be the next one.
4 is this,
3.
3 is just completed. So 5 would be the next one, and it shouldn't need anything for quite some
That's the
time.
north, that's the blue.
Correct.
The mission made 2 for
No.
Oh.
Yes.
Just the little
But the
thing.
casing,
Yeah.
you said the casing was just gonna be, cleaned.
Yeah. Basically, they take a big toothbrush down in there,
Right.
scrub it clean, and then,
Placing in or putting a liner inside the casing.
no.
No, as long as they don't find something that they don't anticipate.
Right.
And
Then
that
you'd
possibility
have
is
to come back
there,
to it.
right,
Don't talk like that.
I
And
know.
so you're doing basically a video of going back down after it's cleaned.
Yes.
So that way we can look for pits and.
That's
voids
right, we'll know what we
indicate-
have. Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Byrd. Not, this obviously is not the budget. We didn't, I mean, this,
Well, as the
okay.
what the mayor was referring to of what the money that we saved by hiring Evan, we knew we were gonna have to spend the overage. But this is in the water and sewer fund.
This is a hard to bite, but did you say mention to?
Second by Mr. Blackwell, all in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
5A. This is the addition, right?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and council, thanks for adding this to the agenda. This council approved a development agreement with JPWM Investments in January of this year, just setting some standards and baselines for potential long-term development of that property, which is about 34 acres. That entity is selling the property, which they have the right to do. The city gets to sign off on that. In the agreement, the paperwork in front of you is signing it. The buyer is confirming that they will abide by all terms of that agreement, so they'll still be bound by what we require of them. And specifically what I added to make sure the city's interests are protected is they specifically acknowledge they will join the CID that will be created next year. So, legal counsel satisfied with these documents, I'd ask that you approve them.
This is the property that's located behind Habitat, if I'm not.
No, this is the big warehouse. The big warehouse on the left-hand side.
On the left-hand side.
Yes.
Is this the same development agreement as we have with Greenland and the others? Is it the same?
It is identical to two others y'all approved in January. It is substantially similar to the Greenland agreement, which, thank you for mentioning that. We are looking to slightly amend to make it in conformity with this one, actually.
Okay, because in these agreements, there should be some stipulations where we allow for them to not put in this sidewalks everywhere. And half of that sidewalk money would be given to the city.
That is in all the agreements as best I recall, including,
And something similar with landscape.
I'll have to double check landscaping. I know for sure it's the
As
case.
far as I know, with all those buildings being built, we've only gotten one jack.
Green.
Yeah, so we need to,
That's for the development.
And these have not been developed yet.
per building, I think it's when they get the CO on the building. Okay.
I'm not sure about that detail. I know that the development agreement that exists is already locked in.
Just to make sure we're getting the same
Yes,
things.
yes, ma'am.
Motion's in order, Phil.
Ruth?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Underwood, second by Ms. Taylor, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, guys, do we have a need for executive session? There's no need for, is it, oh my God.
Comment, between Badcock and the car wash, that ditch needs to be cleaned out and the stuff is climbing up the pole. Our enforcement guy needs to be out and looking at stuff like this. It's ivy or something climbing the telephone or power pole, so. And the retention ditch next to the express car wash, since they built, they haven't maintained it, so I'd like that cleaned up as well.
That will be on the form of DOT right away?
Pardon me?
Would that be in the DOT right away? I don't know exactly where that pole is. For the ditch that needs.
Is it a ditch or is it a pond?
It's a ditch between Badcock and the car wash. It's a ditch.
It runs
It's right there on the side.
Yeah.
Right between. It's
Yeah.
It's not-
Well, terrible, street is terrible.
That's that'd be on Friday.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's cleaned up. Part of our city looks like crap.
And I guess just The only thing I like saying, I've already talked to Jody and Terrington about it, 21's looking pretty rough. And that's what we're doing. We've got that area that's got the quarter cut and well, crepe myrtles that won't grow them. That's overgrown with weeds and grass and trash. And I'm just gonna be honest, that area looks worse now than before we made the change. And that's just not acceptable. So I don't know what we need to do because I understand that we changed management, but we still have the same people doing it. So what do we need to do to help make this successful, get this done? Something we gotta change, do, because we just, if our city's gonna look bad, our citizens will feel good. If we look good, they're gonna feel good. And we came in with that, we wanted something more positive and pleasant to look at, so if we get all the heads together and maybe that's better, I would surely appreciate it.
One thing if we had a discussion on, was maybe doing a ride around the city. And, you know, have two or three council members and to show you exactly what we're seeing.
Yeah, reach out, get something scheduled.
Well, I see you, ball's in your court, we're ready. Okay.
Based off of our charter.
Robbie.
Yes, sir.
About the charter?
That's probably agree.
Mr. Bird, ball's in your court.
And to be upfront with y'all, last morning, we had a Tuesday morning meeting, this was discussed at Tuesday morning meeting, but
We don't get access to that information.
well, I mean, y'all, at some point in time, staff's gonna have to have a trust in their employees and thinking they're getting stuff done. I mean, instead of following up every other day. So it's to that point, I mean, y'all said something last week or somebody said something. We had a meeting Tuesday morning, it was discussed and it's being addressed.
Was a week later.
All right, guys, there's no action, there's a motion in order to adjourn.
Can I make one?
Yes.
There are two people that I would like to recognize in this city. Actually three. The Childresses, Tara and Lynn. The people don't have an idea of what they do for the city. And I'll be willing to speak with you offline about that. But they do a phenomenal job. And the other one is Miss Peggy Cow. I don't know where we're at on getting the fixture for the Veterans Park. But she bought and paid for what was it, $30,000 statue to come in. And they do a lot for the city as well. And I'm gonna start recognizing people that I see in the community because we are a family. We're all one big family as a community. So thank you to the Childresses and I appreciate it. That's okay. That's weird.
Motion's in order to adjourn.
So moved.
So,
Got a motion by Ms. Taylor, and a second by Ms. Underwood, all in favor, say aye. It's this.